Phil Mitchell confesses his adoration for ex-wife Sharon Watts in EastEnders next week. It's been 33 years since they first got together, and with them basically living on one another's doorsteps, it's no surprise that Phil is still harboring feelings. Ever since the Sharon-gate scandal that saw their initial affair exposed by Phil's brother Grant, who was married to Sharon at the time, viewers of the BBC soap have been torn between which brother she should choose. They wed in 2014, but divorced 6 years later after Phil caused the boat crash that killed her son Denny. Last year a reconciliation was teased when the pair locked lips following an emotionally charged conversation. Over a glass of wine, Sharon confessed being part of Keanu Taylor's Christmas Day murder. Clasping her hand as she broke down, he assured her that he could have helped her and the other 5 women responsible if she'd come clean earlier. Fearing that their son Albie would be left without both parents should the police become involved, she had declined to open up. Sharon suggested they were soulmates, and Phil was quick to agree. Everything that had come before them was water under the bridge. They then locked lips, but nothing more has been said about the romance since. She moved on with Phil's cousin Teddy Mitchell, and although things were going swimmingly, she couldn't resist jumping into bed with Grant when he made a grand return last month. The pair reflected on their collective history, but the passion was too much to resist and they soon embraced one another. She then became worried that Phil, who has been receiving mental health care in a psychiatric facility, would find out. In an attempt to make some damage control, she headed to confess all to Teddy. Before she got the opportunity to admit her infidelity, his son Barney spilled instead. Now, with Phil out of hospital, she faces the prospect of him finding out. In upcoming scenes, Sharon is delighted to receive a Mother's Day gift from Albie and her brother Zach Hudson, James Farrar, but her enjoyment is cut short by some troubling news. Nigel Bates arrives and alerts her to the fact that Phil has gone missing. A search party soon gathers, with Sharon, Nigel and Denise Fox reporting his disappearance, as a vulnerable person, to the police. Soon, Phil arrives home and it becomes clear that Nigel has become confused as a result of his young-onset dementia. Phil manages to cover for him, but Sharon is unconvinced and decides to enlist Denise and Kathy Cotton to lift her ex's spirits. He's thrown by the emotional gesture, and after a pep talk from Denise and Nigel, Phil decides to confess his true feelings to Sharon once they're alone. Unfortunately, their conversation is soon cut short by a returning Vicky Fowler, dragging Sharon's attention away. Will she reciprocate Phil's feelings?